Now, because that F sharp is coming, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move forward to the third finger, and that puts me very, very close to where I have to play the fourth finger on the F sharp. So you can see that by using the in and out motions in a strategic way, I'm able to get each finger in the right place so that the next one is easy to do. So one more time, I'm coming out on 2, out on 3, and on 1. I'm coming out on 2, I'm moving forward on 3, and forward on 4, and then crossing to the 1 again. Again, anytime I play the 1, it's going to put the long fingers into the black key area. I must come out if I'm going to play white keys. So out on 2, out on 3, into the 1. I'm going to come out on 2, but here's the crucial moment. I've got to go into the 3, forward rather to the 3, and forward to the fourth finger before I play that 5. Just one brief explanation about the word forward. We use the word forward to mean the most minimal end, I guess you could say. If we play forward, the fingertip is already in the right place. I'm simply shifting my weight to where the finger is already resting on the key. The fourth finger is already in the right place. I'm simply shifting my weight to it. So you can think of forward and in the same family, and that will be fine. If the main issue is that you want to feel that forward and in take you closer to the instrument, and then the out takes you closer to the body. So all of these motions are small in the end, and if they're well calibrated, you're not really going to see too much, but you'll find that each finger is in the right place for the next one to play following it. So what happens when I go a little bit faster like this, you don't see as much movement as I was doing before, but if you're watching my elbow, you can see that I do come out and I come back in for the thumb, and then when I play that third finger, I'm moving forward so that the fourth finger feels very easy to put on the black key. And coming out for the 2, 3, and for the 1, a little bit out for the 2. I don't come as much out for this 2 as I do for the 1 on A, because I'm going someplace else on the 3. I'm going forward on that 3 for the E, and then forward on the 4, and then the 5 is in the right place. A couple of other things to check to make sure that the scale doesn't have awkwardness that's caused by other problems. One of the things that is going to be true for any scale that moves away from the body, ascending right hand, descending left hand, there has to be enough lateral motion for the thumb to get into its key without any problem. Very often what happens is that people can make the right rotational motion, they don't move the arm enough to the right, and if the arm isn't moved into a position where it's out of the thumb's way, the thumb can't get to the key. So the motion, the lateral motion, starts as soon as you leave the thumb. I'm moving over a little bit to the right as I play that 2, and moving a little bit more to the right as I play the 3. You can see that that puts me in a very, very good place to play the 1. Moving a little bit to the right when I play the 2, more to the right when I play the 3, more when I play the 4, and that puts me in a good place for the thumb. So that's something else to check in case you're still feeling an awkwardness while the in and out is correct. One other thing that you might want to check is what is the thumb doing once it releases? The thumb should be shadowing the playing finger in an ascending scale like this. It never pulls under the hand. That's going to create a kind of tension in the palm that you can feel immediately. Many people were trained that way, including me, and it gives uniformly bad results. But the thumb can trail right behind the playing finger, and that brings it close to the key that it's going to play. So I know that it's hard for you to see my thumb in this position from this camera angle, but I'm letting the thumb hang behind the 2, then behind the 3, and then it's very close to the 1. You can see that there's no sudden motion getting there. It's behind the 2, behind the 3, behind the 4, and then back to the 1. You know, just to echo what Bob said about the single rotation, if in the scale the single rotation stops to function, then you won't be able to go smoothly from the finger before the thumb to the thumb. So I would say that's something else to check. This is irrespective of whatever in and out combination the key you're in requires. You have to have that single rotation to the thumb, and then once you play that thumb, there's going to be a single rotation to the second finger. I should say also that it's going to be helpful if you'll release the hand in a condition to continue to that second finger. Sometimes when the motions are a little bit exaggerated, the hand releases in a way that isn't designed to continue, and that's something to watch. You want to ask yourself when that thumb plays, is the hand in condition to play the 2. All it has to do is drop to the right to play that 2. It's fine. Notice that again I'm going forward here, and then the process starts again. Just also to echo one final thing that Bob said, shaping can also help make any scale feel smoother. So we have a series of shapes that start with the thumb, and then ascending scale, I'm getting a little bit higher after the thumb and continuing to get higher until the finger before the next thumb. Then I come down to that level position that you heard Mary describe. A little bit higher, still higher, and then down again. Higher, higher, down. You can see what that looks like. I'm going to play without the talking just so you get the whole picture. So you can see it looks smooth. It doesn't look like there's an awkwardness there, and it all has to do with coordinating the many, many moving parts into a smoothly functioning whole. Now, it also brought up something else, which I thought was interesting, because just because a piece is in G major, it doesn't mean you have to use the fingering for the G major scale. I think sometimes people feel obligated to do this because they think that they're playing in G major and they should use the traditional G major fingering. But I would say generally in pieces you don't have scales that start on the keynote and stop on the keynote. You have fragments of scales that may start any place and may take any kind of change of direction. I would always use the fingering that feels smoothest to the hand. And when you heard Edna talking about fingering that was economical, fingering that was efficient, it's always the fingering that requires the least amount of movement. So I thought of showing you an example from the Mozart Sonata K283 because the editor is suggesting a fingering that does mirror the fingering of the G major scale, and yet there's a fingering that I think is actually easier to do. So if you again look at your handouts and start at the second measure there, we'll start where the 16th notes are. The editor suggests using the 4 on the F sharp. Now there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it will work fine, but you see that what that does is it creates a larger movement and also the need to come out on that third finger because the third finger is in the black key area at that point. So an easier fingering, simply because it requires less adjusting, would be to put the 3 on the F sharp and save the 4 here. I want you to try it at home, both possibilities, and whatever feels better to your hand, of course, is the one to use, but there is always the possibility of changing the fingering of the key that you're in simply to suit the passage that you're playing. Let's move to the next question, and someone wrote in to discuss the left hand in Chopin Nocturne, Opus 27, number 1. It's such a beautiful piece, and it isn't that fast, but I would say that the opening does present problems, and problems that reflect an issue that you heard discussed earlier, which was the issue.
Turn your sound up. You're gonna want to hear this. That's the sound of a brand new 2020 Audi RS Q8. And this is your chance to win it. That's right, to support a great cause, Omaze is giving you the chance to win this brand new Audi RS Q8 with taxes and shipping included, plus $20,000 cash. Combining the power of a supercar with the practicality of a daily driver, the RS Q8 sets a new standard for high-performance luxury SUVs. Seriously, it broke the lap record at Nürburgring. Check it out. Your new RS Q8's Daytona gray exterior features carbon fiber accents throughout and sits on 23-inch wheels. The modern, luxurious interior features a 12.3-inch digital cockpit and dual infotainment screens. And it's all powered by a 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 that puts out an eye-popping 591 horsepower, which means your quick trip to the store just got a whole lot quicker. And with $20,000 to spend on whatever you want, you're gonna be making a lot of quick trips to a lot of stores. So don't miss out. Click the link or go to omaze.com/win an Audi and enter now for your chance to win this Audi RS Q8. Taxes and shipping are included. And best of all, every donation supports the Ronald Reagan Medical Center at UCLA. Thanks for donating and good luck.
The autopsy on this is going to be among the most interesting American experiments we've ever done, and it has to be done.
Well, there's also, I know you just have to add in there, and
Vous recherchez des émotes pour votre stream? Own est le plus grand magasin en ligne pour les streamers. Nous offrons...
Hey, do you remember this webcam from a video we did like back in March? And is still, by the way, 7 months later, the only webcam I've given a positive review to. Yeah, well, AverMedia never actually ended up releasing that webcam, which is unfortunate, but it makes sense because it was like a $400 webcam targeted at businesses, not at streamers. They did, however, release a brand new webcam today, and I'm sure as you saw from the title, it is $250. Let's see if it's worth it. Before we get started, I'd like to give a huge thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Owned.tv. Owned is your one-stop shop for all your stream aesthetic needs, whether it be overlays, panels, alerts, whatever. And if you like this YouTube channel, you like the aesthetic and the style that we go for, there is a brand new overlay on there called Alpha Gaming, which we made with them to look like this channel. And I think they did a phenomenal job. So if you're looking for a clean aesthetic similar to what we do on this channel, feel free to head over there. There's a link in the description below. And if you use that link, it actually supports the call. Let's see if it's worth it. Before we get started, I'd like to give a huge thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Owned.tv. Owned is your one-stop shop for all your stream aesthetic needs, whether it be overlays, panels, alerts, whatever. And if you like this YouTube channel, you like the aesthetic and the style that we go for, there is a brand new overlay on there called Alpha Gaming, which we made with them to look like this channel. And I think they did a phenomenal job. So if you're looking for a clean aesthetic similar to what we do on this channel, feel free to head over there. There's a link in the description below. And if you use that link, it actually supports the channel. So thank you. Also, if you'd like 40% off, make sure you use code ALPHA at checkout. If you have any questions about webcams or the live streamer cam 513, I don't like their naming scheme. Anyway, feel free to jump in and ask me in my stream. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, link in the description below. I spend a lot of time in just chatting. Hit me. Let's go unbox this thing. First thing I'm most pumped about with this is the field of view. It's not as wide as that Chonky Boy from the other video, which was like, what, 105 degrees or something? This is 94 degrees, which is still super wide. It's a lot wider than any of the other ones. For example, the Logitech Stream Cam is 78 degrees. The Brio, which is super wide, is only 90 degrees. This one's 90 super wide. It's a lot wider than any of the other ones. For example, the Logitech Stream Cam is 78 degrees. The Brio, which is super wide, is only 90 degrees. This one's 94. It also shoots in 1080 60 as well as 4K 30. Let's open this up and see what's inside. Oh, this is bigger than I thought it was going to be. Like a lot bigger. I was looking at the front. I don't know if you've seen AverMedia's cameras before. I mean, they look like this, and you know, this big. Holy cow. This thing is fat. Let me grab the other AverMedia camera. Just to show you what I'm talking about. Here we go. This is what I was expecting. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you know, this is you, and this is the guy she tells you not to worry about. Look at this thing. And not only just at the front, but it's got a whole, dude, I'm pumped about this. I don't understand the idea behind making tiny, sleek little webcams. They're sitting on top of your monitor. They don't go anywhere. Make them big if you can make them look good. And this feels good. You've got a detachable USB-C port on the back. I like that a lot. What cable does it come with? Please tell me it's USB-A on the computer end. We'll see. Oh baby, this makes me happy. They included USB-C on the side that goes into the camera, and on the other side it's just standard USB type A. That is good news. And it's got this little privacy thing right here that kind of just goes down. The biggest takeaway here, first of all, the housing feels great. This feels high quality, which makes me really happy. But I'm gonna go back to, I'm so pumped about how big this thing is. This lens is just massive. Can you see the difference there? Let me zoom in real quick. Look at the difference. Just the lens there, the light intake is going to be insurmountably higher. So real quick, before we plug this thing in and take a look at the important thing, how it actually looks, let's take a look at specs and compare it to kind of its two main competitors right now, both from Logitech. The first one being the Logitech StreamCam, which goes for $180 MSRP. I have no idea how much it's being price gouged for right now. That we reviewed early 2020, the other one being the Logitech Brio, which has been around for a while. Both of them have their strengths and weaknesses. The Brio, I believe, MSRP is for $200, and this one going for $250. First thing, resolution. This thing can do full 4K 30 frames per second, which is an improvement over that AverMedia Chunky Boy camera, which could do 4K, it was either 24 or 25 frames per second. I don't remember, but not a full 30. I believe I was told from AverMedia that this could also do 1080 60. I don't see it on the box, so we'll have to check when we plug it in. I would be shocked if I've never heard of a 4K 30 webcam that couldn't do 10.
So we were listening to the registrar in Clark County, Nevada, go over some numbers, and unfortunately we had some technical issues. We didn't hear everything. Let me go to Jacob Soberoff in North Las Vegas. He's at that press conference. He was trying to, I know, explain how much vote is still out there. What did you learn, Jacob?
Lester, 63,000 approximately outstanding ballots here. And we asked very specifically, and standing next to my colleague Jolene Kent as well, a couple of things. We asked, let's take a step back here because they're still doing the press conference, but Lester, we asked very specifically, why is it taking so long if they have the capacity to count 70,000 ballots a day, which is what he told the assembled press yesterday, and there's only 62,000 remaining, Lester. And the answer is, he said it was step by step. They weren't ready to actually process and count those ballots. Joe Kent, who's standing right behind me, also asked him about allegations of election fraud that were leveled today by Acting Director of Intelligence Rick Grinnell, former Acting Director of Intelligence, who was here on behalf of the Trump campaign. He said there is no evidence of voter fraud in this area, and it is an unfounded claim. It's something that I also asked former Acting DNI Grinnell earlier today when he showed up here outside the facility. I want you to take a look at that real quick, Lester. Watch this. Can you talk about the evidence? You are claiming thousands of illegitimate votes here in Nevada. What's the evidence?
You should go in and ask the question of the clerk.
No.
Which you haven't
You
done
guys
yet.
just made the claim. No, in fact, you also said there's no election observers. There's Democratic and Republican election observers inside, Mr. Grinnell. Former DNI Grinnell, acting DNI, where's the evidence of the fraud? You haven't presented any evidence of fraud.
Where's the evidence?
They've presented no evidence of fraud, Craig. So we're live on MSNBC. You've said thousands of illegitimate ballots. Thousands of illegitimate ballots. Where are they? Where's the Matt Schlapp? Where are the illegitimate ballots? Where are the illegitimate ballots? So, Lester, no answer, obviously, from former acting DNI Rick Grinnell. I want to show you something, though. They talked about the election observing, that there's no election observing. They're allowed to do election observing. Come with me right now. This is where the votes are being counted inside this facility. The press conference is still taking place over there. These are literally election observers. You all are election observers, correct? Are you observing the election here? Thank you very much. And Republicans and Democrats right now? Republicans and Democrats. So you heard what Rick Grinnell had to say to me, Lester, but the facts belie what we were told. No evidence was presented about voter fraud. And then you just heard from Joe Gloria over here that, yes, it's taking a while to count the votes here. They're trying to... And then you just heard from... belie what we were told. No evidence was presented about voter fraud. And then you just heard from Joe Gloria over here that, yes, it's taking a while to count the votes here. They're trying to be deliberate, but there is also no evidence of voter fraud. The Trump campaign has essentially said, we'll see you in federal court.
Yeah, in the meantime, so November 12th is the last date they'll be taking in ballots there. That's correct?
That's correct, Lester. And then the other thing to remember is that there's some confusion on that as well, because the dates that have been laid out by the Secretary of State, the 10th of this month was the last time that they could get the mail-in ballot certified. The 12th was for signatures. The 16th was for certification. We'll try to get some clarification on that here.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here. To watch the latest interviews, show highlights,
and the integrity of the system. To what degree are you aware of great concern in the public all across this country, and certainly in Georgia, about the integrity of the process? Concern that maybe somehow votes are being found that are trying to rig the system and put the system at their mercy and come out with an outcome that the voters did not want.
Well, I think if anybody's going to try to rig a system, they might have seen something a little bit less close than this. That's one. Two, we have in this process 159 dedicated elections directors and their staff who are working to get this right. They're working diligently every single day. We know how many requests came in for absentee ballots. We know how many ballots were received. So that is an outward bound, so nobody could suddenly show up with 100,000 extra ballots somewhere. In this state in particular, we take security very seriously. The entire name of our campaign for launching this new system was Secure Your Vote. And it's really important. And I understand that in other states there are questions. I can only speak for this state. And I can speak for the people of Secretary Raffensperger's staff, the elections directors around the state. They're going to
1080-30. The Logitech StreamCam can only do 1080-60, no 4K on that camera, and the Brio can do 1080-60 as well as 4K 30. Field of view, I already said the numbers, let's throw them up over there. For me, this is a big one. I feel like streamers in general like a really wide view. They deck out their background, the room behind them. They have the webcam pretty close and they don't want to look like it's just zoomed in on the face. I'm pumped that this goes all the way out to 94 degrees. We're gonna have to see how that looks. And then of course the connection, this one as well as the Brio, both being removable USB Type-C. StreamCam, this was one of my biggest gripes with it. It is a non-detachable USB Type-C cable, meaning one, you're forced to use USB Type-C unless you get an adapter, and two, you can't get a longer cable plugged into it unless you buy an extender. So it was a really weird choice on their part. But then of course there is one area where the StreamCam has an advantage, which is the software. As far as I've seen about this in all the documents I've gotten, there's no special software feature on here where the StreamCam